Well, look, I am so glad you are here tonight. I'm so glad for those that are tuning in online, maybe at a later date. Would y'all let those viewing online, give them a nice, warm welcome. Tell them you're glad they are here, part of Relevant Youth. Look, I have some news, guys. Tonight, you know what tonight is? Tonight is our last group night of 2021. Y'all pretty sad? I heard some sadness over here. Y'all better be sad. This is our last group night of the year. Next week, I'll tell you at the end of tonight's service what we're doing next week. It'll be a lot of fun, so you'll want to make sure you're here for that. But we are in a series this month. You remember what it's called? Keep the change, you filthy animal. And it's probably one of my favorites, I think, so far. And it kind of has me thinking, we're in the Christmas season. I have a question I want to ask you guys. Do y'all have a favorite Christmas song? Mistletoe by Justin Bieber? Are there any Justin Bieber fans in here? No, there's not. If you were, you'd be screaming. That's not a true fan. True fans aren't quiet. All right, so on the count of three, I want you to yell your favorite Christmas song to me, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. Someone said The Grinch. Yeah, The Grinch, it is a song. By Jim Carrey? I don't know if that's accurate, but I heard The Grinch. I think I heard Jingle Bells. Anybody say Jingle Bells? A few of you. I don't know if I have a favorite Christmas song. If I can be honest with you for a moment, Christmas music isn't my favorite. So I don't know if I have a favorite Christmas song, but I do have a least favorite Christmas song. Does anyone have a least favorite Christmas song? All right, on the count of 3, I want you to yell at me your least favorite Christmas song. You want to do that? All right, 1, 2, 3. I heard Justin Bieber. Y'all can battle it out later. Drummer Boy? That's fighting words. That's fighting words in this church. Oh, y'all want to hear my least favorite Christmas song? My least favorite Christmas song of all time for all eternity is Christmas Shoes. Y'all not even know what song that is? This is a protected generation. You've never heard Christmas Shoes. Do yourself a favor. Tonight, go home and listen to it and bawl your eyes out. I play a game every year. I play a game every year to see how long I can go without hearing Christmas Shoes. It is that terrible. It might be some of y'all's favorite out there. Some of our leaders might be your favorite. I apologize. It is my least favorite. If I want to bawl my eyes out for the next 7 hours, I will play that song once. But I don't like listening to that song because it makes me sad. It just kind of invokes some sadness. And Christmas is not a time for sadness. Christmas should be full of joy and happiness and time with family and friends. And that's kind of what we talked about in this series, is that during the Christmas season, something inside of us changes. Right? Normally, something changes around Christmas time, and something in us changes. And this whole idea came out of a movie called Home Alone. Y'all ever seen that? Yeah. Okay, so y'all remember we talked about that last week. You've got Kevin McAllister. He's home alone. That's what he wanted, living his dream. Midway through, he's like, oh my gosh, this is not a dream. This is actually a nightmare. And we talked about that famous scene where he plays that movie on the TV when the two bandits are trying to break in, and the movie's playing, that famous phrase comes on, and it's, keep the change. That was weak. Let's try that again. Keep the change. A little bit better. And I heard that line, and it just kind of sparked something in me, like, whoa, keep the change. Because there's something in us that changes every Christmas season. And we broke this down last week, and we're about to unpack it in your small groups. I'm just delivering a small reminder that something changes in us, that we become a little nicer towards people. We should. We become more generous towards people. The spirit of Christmas kind of comes in and settles inside of us, and we are always reminded, remember the reason for the season, and that's always in front of us. And so people change a little bit. Maybe you haven't experienced this. Maybe your generation hasn't experienced this. Growing up, this is what we experienced. Things change around the Christmas year. And I felt that something in me changed. It's Christmas time. I'll give a little bit more here. I'll be a little more kind to this person. I'll be a little more full of grace and understanding because it's Christmas. Something changes. And I told you last week that don't just act differently during Christmas, but live a life that is different. Don't just act differently during Christmas, but live a life that is different. Meaning when Christmas season comes, don't just act different for a couple of weeks, and then once the new year hits, you're like, okay, back to same old me. But let that change that you're feeling, that generosity, that kindness, let that carry over into the new year, and let that become a habit in your life. Don't just act for a few weeks, but let that become part of your behavior, part of your character, part of who you are, your DNA. I am different. I am a different person. I want my peers to notice something different about me. I want them to notice that I'm a nice person, that I treat others with grace and with kindness and with mercy and with love. I want people to see me and say, wow, something's different. Y'all know people that leave Christmas lights up all year long? Please don't do that. We know those people. We're like, yeah, I know them. They leave their Christmas lights up all year round. Well, I want to ask you, leave your Christmas lights on all year round. Not literally, but in the life that you live. Leave your Christmas lights on. Let people know you are celebrating. There is something worth celebrating. There is a Savior who lives in heaven, who came on this earth and died for you to give you an opportunity to have a relationship with Him to get to heaven. That you were worth dying for, and that is worth celebrating. And because He did that for me, I want to tell others about it. And I want to live a life that reflects His life, a life that loves other people. We talked about this verse in John chapter 13, verse 34. These are words Jesus said. He said, a new command I give you. Is a command a suggestion? Is a command a suggestion? No. Jesus is saying, I'm telling you, this is what you should be doing. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. In case you missed it, Jesus is saying, love one another. He repeats himself. It's that important. Love one another. As I have loved you, you should also be loving other people. So my question is, how did Jesus love other people? He loved them enough to serve them. We have this mentality that we want to be served. I'm better than you. Do this for me. I'm more popular than you. I'm cooler than you. I'm better than you. Jesus did not have that mentality. As followers of Christ, we should want to have the same mentality Jesus had. We should live a same life or similar life to what Jesus lived. And Jesus said, I'm not here to be cooler than you. I'm here to actually serve you. I won't do the opposite of what the world tells you to be or what to do. I'm coming here to serve you. What do you need? How can I help you? What can I do for you? We see in Scripture a moment where Jesus washes his disciples' feet. One disciple said, "Whoa, what are you doing? You shouldn't be washing my feet. I should be washing your feet." And Jesus says, "I came to earth to serve people. I'm here to love people. And one of the ways I love others is serving others." Jesus also cared for everybody. He saw a need, he met a need. He didn't make fun of other people. He cared for people. If someone was hurting, he sat with them and he hurt with them. If someone was lonely, he visited them. Jesus cared for other people. He also stood up for those who weren't treated fairly. He hung out with those who weren't cool. He spent time with those that were made fun of. That's where Jesus was. When Jesus claimed to be King of Kings and Son of God, so many people didn't believe him because of the people he hung out with and because of the way he served other people. We'll end with this verse in 1 John 3:18, and it says this. Dear children, Jesus is talking to people who follow him. So if that's you tonight, this is what he's saying. Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. What he's saying in this verse is, don't just say you're going to love somebody. Act on it. Care for people. Serve people. Actively love people. It's easy to talk, isn't it? Talk is cheap. Back it up with your actions. If you're dating somebody and they told you they loved you, but they never really acted like they loved you, would you believe them? Why? Huh? They're not acting like it. I wonder how many people say they love the Lord and they love others, but they're not acting on it. Prove it. Back it up with your actions and let it overflow through the Christmas season and let it become a part of your life. And in January and February, let's keep letting the Spirit of Christmas live through us. Let's keep the change. Maybe you're in here today and you're saying, you know what, Pastor Daniel, nothing changes for me. December comes and goes. I don't ever feel that change. I don't really feel anything differently. My question is this to you. Actually, I take that back. I take that back. You're wondering, how can I change? How can I experience that change? I tell you to move. Take steps. Take steps towards change. Maybe take a step towards Jesus in your faith. Maybe take a step in entering a relationship with him, a step in baptism, a step in serving. Start moving. Start taking steps in your local church, in your faith. If I wanted to gain more muscle, am I going to do that sitting on my couch? Am I going to get stronger telling my friends that I want to work out? How am I going to get stronger? By what? By doing it, by going to the gym, by actively working out, by actively moving. You want to be different? You want to have a life like Jesus? A life that resembles Jesus? A life that points other people to Jesus? You've got to move. You've got to move in your faith, and you've got to take steps. And maybe you're wondering, what is my step? Tonight, ask your small group leader, what is my first step? What is my next step? We all have a step, and we believe here at Relevant Church, your next step is what? Your best step. So move. Move towards change. Move towards being the person God has created you to be. And when Christmas is over, let's go back into our schools in January and let's keep the change. Let's be different this Christmas season.